What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on?
It's a late night show, so we can say these things. We can be a little crass. We can say some dirty things. Hmm.
If I was a woman and I knew what to tell people how to make me come the quickest, I would let everybody know. I'd put it on a t-shirt and wear it around. Welcome back on another beautiful Friday night to the Correct Opinion, where I am joined by the Topanga to my Corey, Forrest Mommy. Forrest Mommy, how you doing?
Good. I always wanted to be Topanga. I thought she was so cool.
That was literally. So I was just told her before I went live. I decided every opening I'm going to do that a '90s sitcom couple, and she goes, "Ooh, I want to be Topanga." I'm like, "Motherfucker, that was what I was doing tonight." Nailed it.
Topanga was like the coolest.
We finished each other's
sentences.
Yeah.
Coming. We finished each other's coming.
Maybe.
Someone else told me recently that we have a good fun chemistry, so it's for real.
You know why?
Why?
It's because we don't want to fuck each other.
Well, listen, we would fuck, but we want to stay respectful and not cross that line.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Hi, Adam. Hi, Kaylee. Hi, Hot Dog.
Sparkling reverie. I like that. Hi,
everybody. Are you still you still sober? Not drinking?
I have not drank since New Year's Eve.
Good for you.
Oh, it's not that hard. I mean, I only drank on Saturdays, or if I ever was hanging out with you guys in real life. Other than that,
goofy. Yeah, if we go to Raw, you're gonna drink.
I'll have a beer. Yeah, I didn't quit drinking. I just wanted to cut back, and here I am. I want to get in. I want to talk about, because I know we're in the closing days of the livestock show. I also just want to give an update on the water heater, because I thought I had it fixed last Friday, and now we are continuing on the trend of every week we do an episode, which is nice. There's something major goes wrong. So we had the polar vortex starting Sunday night. Sunday, I wake up Monday morning, and the fault light is on my water heater. And I'm like, motherfucker. Everything was working great for the last 3 days, and now you can throw this shit on me. All right. So I go out there, reset it, fires right up. I'm like, cool. Hopefully that goes away.
Will you put the things closer together or whatever to make it the pilot light work or something?
Yeah, I did that. That's what I did last Friday to get working. Okay, because that was the issue last week. So now this is a new thing, and it's negative fucking 40 degrees, not with wind chill.
40?
40, yes, on Monday morning. Monday morning was negative 40 air temperature.
Negative 40 is so cold. That's like ridiculous.
Yes, and I'm outside fixing a fucking water heater for hours. The poor fucking dogs, I had to keep letting them inside. They were like, Dad, it's too cold. We want to go inside. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I put them inside, and you could just hear them like crying, like, we want to be out there with you. Like it was this back and forth on top of trying to fix the water heater. And the whole time I'm like, I just don't want to have to drain the water heater. Because if I have to drain the water heater at negative 40, I'm fucked.
And is it in your trailer? Is the water heater in your trailer?
The water heater is in the actual tank itself is in underneath the sink in the kitchen. But the panel where you control everything and work on everything is outside of it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
The electrical panel?
Well, it's gas, electric, and anything you need to work on it.
Piano.
All the shit you have to do. So I reset it, fires up, great. Hour and a half later, the fault light comes on. And I'm like, what the fucking fuck? And I go and I turn the hot water heater. I turn the faucet on in here to see if I have hot water. It is lava hot, like retarded hot. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Like, it's got to be the thermostat. So without getting into too much of the science, here's how a fucking water heater works for those who don't know. An RV, whether it's an RV water heater or whether it's a fucking house water heater that runs on gas. Mine is dual gas and electric, but the electric was never set up. So mine only runs on gas. So this is how it works. Your panel in your home, wherever you have your power supply, sends electricity to the board. Well, it sends it to the thermostat first. And on the thermostat is literally just a switch that says it has two temperatures. Mine has two temperatures, 140 and 110. And what it does is whenever it reaches whenever it's under 110, it says, okay, open up the circuit. Let electricity flow through. Just send electricity through if it's under 110 degrees. Once it hits 140, like once the water heats up, then the thermostat just says, okay, it's 180 degrees, cut it off. Okay? That electricity then goes into the circuit board. The circuit board then splits the electricity, sending a little bit to the gas valves to say, hey, the thermostat needs heat, open up the gas valves. Once the gas valves are open, the circuit board says, okay, send electricity to the ignition and start trying to spark a flame.
To keep it hot.
To keep it hot. Once the flame starts, there's a sensor in the igniter that can tell when a flame is lit. It's through a carbon. I'm getting way nerdy and scientific on this.
No, it's good. I know what, like I said, I know what pilot lights and all that shit are like, but it's an electric pilot light.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So it's like 2 prongs, and a spark goes, and that lights the gas. Once it lights the gas, the bottom prong uses the carbon that's flowing and burning in the gas as a conductor to run a milliamp current to the other spike, and that milliamp gets sent back up to the control board to say, hey, there is a fire lit. Because there was carbon present, the carbon from the flame, we can use that carbon to jump the arc between the two. So now we know there's a flame. Turn the spark off. So it kills the electricity. Gas runs until the thermostat hits over 140 degrees. Then the circuit board goes when it was sending the electricity to the gas, it goes through what's called an emergency cutoff valve, which is a thermostat. It's the same thing. The parts look identical. The difference is this one is set. There's no minimum, but it's set to 180 degrees as the max. Okay. So if your primary thermostat fails and goes over 140 degrees and the gas just keeps burning and burning and burning, if it hits 180 degrees, this is like a fail safe to say, holy shit, this is over 180 degrees. We should have been shut up by now. Shuts that off and goes. And then there's also a physical pressure release valve on the top, which to ensure your tank doesn't explode, once it gets to a high pressure or high temp, this valve opens up because a water heater is just a bomb. It's a pressure cooker. If you like roasted chicken, it's the same. It's a broaster. It's
fucking love roast. That's 9 Mile, 9 Mile, Wisconsin. That's roasted chicken.
Yep. I knew that's why I knew that would make you think of that. That's why I said it. So there's literally 4 fail safes on this. Oh, and the plug. The plug is made of plastic. So if it gets lava hot, the plug is designed to melt to pull out, like where you would normally empty the water. Yeah, it'll come out and it'll blow the tank, so your tank doesn't explode in your trailer. So there's literally 5 fail safes on a water heater. Anytime one of those fail safes go, your water heater shuts off. You know what I mean? It kills itself to say, hey, let's be safe and not turn this thing into a fucking giant water bomb. Hot water bomb at that. Okay, so the light comes back on after an hour and a half. Water's extremely hot. Thermostat's gone. I know that's what it is.
It hasn't blown up.
It hasn't blown up because the emergency cutoff was doing its job. The thermostat was broke. And I go out and I'm like, and you can't see the thermostat because the way RV trailers design this is so fucking stupid. You put a foam pad over it for insulation that's like super glue on the back of it. So you have to wait for the thermostat to go bad before you can inspect it because you have to take this foam pad off and buy a new foam pad because it's super fucking sticky. It's supposed to stay on there for years. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I got to look at the thermostat. So I ripped off the padding and the thermostat's just rusted to fuck. It's the original thermostat on the water.
How old is your trailer?
2006. So it's almost 20 years old. That's pretty. Usually you have to change a thermostat like every 5 years, you know? So we got some fucking miles out of that bad boy. Anyway. And I live in it full time, so my heater runs constantly. Like most people only. Yeah.
And you're fucking cold ass Wisconsin or UP, Michigan.
Yeah, and most people, because I use it all the time, my stuff lasts longer. I know that sounds weird, but with the RV, the more you use something, the better it works, the longer it lasts. It's the people who use their RV once a year, like to go out to the weekend camp, that they're the ones who have the problems because their shit never runs and it's just sitting there rotting away. Well, my thermostat was rusted away. So I wake up Monday morning or like Monday afternoon.
The wires?
No, like, okay, so the thermostat, how do I describe the thermostat? Actually,
wires
I have one. I bought a brand no, it's not wires. It's hold on. I've got one. I bought extra parts like crazy.
Nice Golden Girl shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much. Here's the pad I was telling you about. This thing is like super glue on the back. So there's the pad. All right. I know this is enthralling for the audience.
I love it. I love blue collar shit because that makes it so we don't have to work.
Here, I actually have to look at the back because they look identical.
Right. It's electricity that tells what the temperature is, though.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, correct. And I'll explain. All it is a switch. So this is either this is the thermostat. This is the emergency cutoff. They look identical, right? That's because they're the same fucking thing. So do you see on the front of this? This is what faces out. Do you see the two prongs like an electrical cord?
Yeah.
Okay. So one's the input, one's the output. Electricity goes in one prong, and then this is spring loaded on the back. This part sticks right up to your tank. I have an aluminum tank, so it's metal to metal, and the spring contracts with the temperature, and the spring is set to 140 degrees. So when it hits 140 degrees on the tank, the spring coils up like that, and it goes in. When it does that, the electromagnet inside of it cuts the power between the two prongs on the front. And then when it gets cold, the spring retracts back to the tank. Once it retracts fully, that opens up the circuit to allow electricity to flow through. That's it. That's all it is. It literally is.
We have enough hot water. Shut off for right now, or turn on when we don't have enough hot water.
Correct. That's correct. When the temperature goes down, and in the wintertime, obviously, when it's cold outside, it cycles more often because.
Especially negative fucking 40.
40. Yeah. So
negative 40.
Yes. So anyway, I realized I pulled the thing off. My thermostat's rusted. Thermostat's bad. Okay, cool. It's Monday. It's a work day. It's the first day. It's the first big day of this fucking polar vortex. Please let the only RV parts store in 50 miles be open today. I call him up, and the guy sounded miserable. He's like, "Yeah, we're open." So I go in there, and I'm like, "Please tell me you have a thermostat for an Atwood." And I gave him the model number, and he's like, "Yeah, we got one set." And they come, you get them together. You get the thermostat, the emergency cutoff together. If you're gonna replace one, replace both, because you got to put that stupid fucking black pad over both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't waste your time replacing one to have to pull that fucking pad off and buy another pad, because everything with RV shit is expensive if you buy it at a brick and mortar. So I had the good sense in me that morning when I knew I had to go to the store. I was like, let me go online and buy one on like a set online. And when I was online, I found a new circuit board, a new motherboard for $30. So I said, let me go ahead and buy it, because you can't get a motherboard.
You never know when you might need it.
You never know when you're going to need it. And I found it for $30. And then I found this kit, which came with an igniter, 2 emergency cutoff wires, the thermostat that you could for $14. Okay? I paid $14 for that. For the motherboard online, I paid $30. I went to the store Monday morning to buy the thermostat. For the thermostat, emergency cutoff valve, and the black pad, that's it. I paid $14 online for all that, plus a shit ton of extra stuff, shit ton of extra wires. It came in a kit and an igniter. So I was like, "Yeah, I need the thermostat." He's like, "Sure, no problem. Here we have one set left with the pad, the thermostat, and the emergency cutoff. $28 just for that." I was like, "Fuck. Well, I need it. What are you gonna do? I can't wait a week while the stuff I ordered online comes in. I need hot water this week." So I bought that, and I'm like, "You know what? Do you guys have igniters here?" And they're like, "Yeah, we have igniters." And I'm like, "Let me go ahead and take one of those too." So the igniter was $14. So what I paid for the igniter, the thermostat valve on. It's just cheaper online. It's cheaper to shop online if you know what you need, but you can't plan for an emergency. You should always keep backups. I didn't follow my own fucking rule on this one. So anyway.
You do in other aspects. Like, it's hard to keep everything backed up.
Yeah, it's hard to keep everything backed up. Shit happens. So anyway, I go home. I replace the thermostat. Bada bing, bada boom. We don't have the boil over anymore. Everything seems to be working. I make sure it's cycling. I make sure everything's good on Monday. I wake up Tuesday morning and I come out and I'm gonna do dishes. And I go to turn hot water on, and I'm sitting here holding my hand, waiting for it to turn warm. You know, never turns warm. It's actually really cold. And I'm like, "Oh fucking no!"
What temperature was it that day?
It was cold. It was ice cold. It was ice cold because it hadn't been run for hours. I just woke up from sleeping for like 6 hours, and it was like the first night of full sleep I got because I didn't have to worry about the water heater, you know. But I should have been worried about the water heater. There's no indicator light on. There's no fault light on. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I opened up underneath the sink, water pooled underneath the water heater because the connections to the water heater, like on the bottom of the tank, bottom back of the tank, there's a plug that brings water in, fresh water in, and then the top brings the water out to your faucets. Okay, that's how it works. You have the one on the bottom, that's the intake. Those things that screw into your water tank are designed to be pressurized because it's a bomb, it's a pressure cooker. So if there's no pressure on them, they're not watertight. So water is leaking whenever it's not running because it's cold. There's no pressure. You get the point? So I'm like, fuck. Now this is Tuesday morning of the saga. So the board doesn't have a fault light on it. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I reset it, starts right up. And I'm like, okay. I wait an hour and a half. I go out. Okay, it stopped running. Water's heated up. Open up the faucet, hot water. I was like, let me just let the hot water run. Let me make the water cool in the tank and see if it starts back up. It doesn't start back up. So I manually reset it. When I reset it, it fires back up. Okay, so now basically I have a single shot water tank. I have to every couple hours I've got to reset the panel so it starts up and just heats it up. You know what I mean? I'm the human thermostat in this scenario.
This is what happens before we depend on this shit, the electricity.
Correct. And the water is getting to 140, so I know the thermostat, the thermostat's good. That's why it's not sending the fault like it did before, because it's shutting it off at 140 because I'm measuring now the temperature of the water coming out of the faucet. So, okay. I reset it and I'm like, I'm not going to go, and it's got to be the motherboard. I've replaced everything else on the water heater.
Always the fucking motherboard.
It's got to be the motherboard. So I already bought a motherboard online, and it's coming in on Saturday. And I'm like, cool. I'll limp the water heater into Saturday to tomorrow. It's supposed to come in tomorrow.
But you were already kind of limping it in anyways, right?
Well, starting on Monday, yeah. It broke initially last Thursday before we did the episode last Thursday. I thought it was fixed. It was working fine. And then Tuesday is when I had to start manually resetting it. And I manually reset it Tuesday, manually reset it Wednesday. I was going to limp it into Saturday. Thursday morning, I wake up, I go turn the faucet on, and it's still a little bit warm from running throughout the night. I didn't sleep like get a full night of sleep all week because I'm getting up every 2 hours to reset the water heater because I do not want to drain the water. The big thing I didn't want to do was drain the fucking water tank in this fucking storm. So then comes, where are we at in the timeline? What was yesterday? Thursday.
Yeah.
Wednesday night. At midnight, I have an alarm set for midnight to get up and reset the water heater. Alarm goes off. I go out, reset the panel, no fire. I'm like, what? I was like, maybe the water's still so hot in the tank that the thermostat won't allow it to go on. That's a good thing. That tells me the thermostat's working. So sorry, Chad. I know this is extremely fucking boring.
I love it. I love blue collar shit.
So I turn the hot water on, run the tank cold. And then I go outside, hit the switch for it to flame up. It doesn't flame up. The motherboard's fried. That's the only thing it can be is the motherboard being fried. So I said, here I am, midnight, during the last day of a polar vortex, and it was probably about -15 at this time. I got to empty the water tank. I got to shut everything off, and I've got to empty the water tank because you can't have I can't have water freeze in the tank, otherwise then I'm really fucked.
You're fucked.
You're fucked if the tank freezes. So at midnight, here I am outside, -15-degree weather, and it's a pressurized tank, but I relieve the pressure. But still, when you take the plug off, the water comes shooting at you, and no matter how fast you are, you're not going to get out of the way completely, and it hits me right in the knees. So from the knees down now, I'm covered in water in -15-degree weather, which is exactly what I wanted to fucking avoid. And I mean, as soon as it hits my pants, it's freezing instantly. So as soon as I get the tank emptied and I put the plug back in it and everything shut off, I go inside. I took my pants off. They literally stood up on their own. My pants could stand on their own because they were frozen solid.
Yeah, -15.
And I can't take a hot shower. That's the biggest kick in the nuts out of this whole fucking thing.
But your camper is warm.
Oh,
right?
The heat. Remember, I got a new furnace last year. This new furnace is the fucking Cadillac. It's like the Sahara Desert in here. Like it is fucking hot. Anyway, but I can't take a hot shower, and that's what makes you feel human.
Yeah.
So this is Wednesday going into Thursday, and I'm like, okay, And I looked at motherboards when I went and got the parts on Monday. A motherboard in the store was $250. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to fucking spend $250 on a motherboard. I really don't want to do it. And I went to my mom's. I went and had breakfast with my mom.
You ever preparing for just in case you need it?
I bought one for $30 online.
Oh, so you were waiting for that still.
I was waiting for it to come in, and I am going to buy another $30 one online because they're $250 in the store here. So I'm debating. So every Thursday I have breakfast with my mom, for those who don't know, and I'm having and my mom lives like 3 miles away from the RV parts store. So I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, "What do you think, dude?" I was like, "Do I fucking spend the $250 to get the hot water back today? Because I know this is the problem, or do I wait 2 days?" And my mom is like, "Fuck, Paul, you're in a shitty spot." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it. I'll spend the $250, and then the one I got coming in the mail, I'll have as a backup. So if this ever happens again, I don't have to worry about it." I go to the RV store. They're sold out of mine. They're sold out of mine. They don't have it, which is a good thing. That makes my decision easy. I'm either going to be stinky until Saturday, or I'm going to take a cold shower. Those are my options. Like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm forced into this situation.
Or a horse shower. You're going to take a horse shower.
Yeah, it's not my furnace going out. The furnace going out would be the killer. The furnace going out would be the one that sucks the most. So I'm okay with the water heater going out.
I suck the most.
So I went back to my mom's after I run into the store, and I was like, "Yeah, they don't have it." She goes, my mom is so funny. She goes, "Well, then take a shower here right now." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "While you're here, take a shower here right now." "When's the last time you took a shower?" And I'm like, "Last night when I had hot water." She goes, "Take a shower, so you at least have a shower today, and then you're only not going to shower on Friday." And I love that moms think about shit like that and care, you know? So I took a shower at my mom's house when I was there. And I came home from my mom's yesterday, and I was just like, all right, you know what I'm going to do before I even let the dogs out of the kennel? I'm just going to go turn the board on and see what happens. So I go out, power the board, go out, plug it in, fires right up. I unplug it right away because there's no water in it. So I unplug it right away because that'll turn into a bomb real quick if it's just sealed with just air. So I'm like, fuck it. Do I risk putting water back in that tank and firing this board up again? I was like, yeah, I'm going to risk it. I got to try it. If I have to get covered in water again, emptying the tank, I have to get covered in water. So I fill it back up with water, turn it on, it fires up. Not only did I not have to limp it into Saturday, Jess, it has been cycling on its own perfectly all through last night. It's been working.
What else did you replace? I
didn't replace anything. I just turned it on. And it worked fine. Here's where if you guys ever heard me talk about my brother, I say the Lord looks out for two people, babies and retards. And my brother has the best luck in the world, and he's not a baby, so figure it out. I got some of that baby and retard magic today, Jess. I got a package delivered a day early. The new board. Last night, it was in Hodgkins, Illinois. And it was like, it's not going to be delivered on Saturday. There's no way.
Is that where Randy lives? That's probably like where Randy
I don't know. I don't know who Mandy is. I don't know who that is.
Randy.
Oh, Randy. I don't know. I don't know if that's where he lives. He lives in some bumfucked Illinois town.
Yeah.
So in the course of from 9 p.m. last night, that board made it all the way up to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and from Rhinelander, Wisconsin to my house, and it was delivered on my doorstep at 11. I got that son of a bitch out.
Post office?
No, UPS, which, by the way, I have talked a lot of shit about UPS in my day. I got to hand them credit.
They were cruising up to Wisconsin. They were cruising up to Wisconsin.
They were cruising it up. They got it to me. So immediately I went and changed the board out, and the new board is so fucking nice. Like the original board, it's just the board. You know, like that's it. Like you plug it in, either it works or it doesn't work. This makes noises for every event. Remember how I walked you through that? Like the electricity comes in here when it hits the thermostat. The board makes different tone noises for every step. So really, if I get to know what tone is happening, I know what sequence the start sequence is on, so I know what's broke. Troubleshooting in the future.
If you don't hear
if I don't hear that tone, I know the board is not sending signal to the gas. The board's not sending signal to the igniter. So like I can narrow the troubleshooting down. It's really nice. So I'm going to buy another board. We're back in the hot water. It's been firing up like a dream every time. I run the
You
water
took a
for
hot
30
shower
seconds.
today? You took a hot shower
I
today?
took 3 hot showers today just because I fucking
3?
could.
3?
Yeah.
I took 2. I took
I
2.
masturbate a lot, so you know that is what it is.
You're a shower masturbator.
Yeah, I'm an everywhere masturbator.
You are.
Don't fucking eye me. You are too. You just
I'm
don't
not
want to
eyeing.
fucking take
I'm
over
not.
for it.
That's not a
Don't
judgment.
shame me. Don't
That's
shame
not a
me.
judgment or shame. It's not ever judgment.
It's
or
not like
shame.
I hump pillows or something like that.
Who does that?
Who does that?
Who does that? Everyone got quiet.
So
Everyone
that is. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I really apologize, everybody.
That's fine.
So that's my hot water. Other than that, Trump, this was his first week in office. So anytime I was not dealing with a hot water heater, I was enjoying the absolute fucking awesomeness of the week of watching everything Trump is doing his first weekend. And man, you talk about hit the ground. I'm pretty sure the executive branch of this federal government has done more the last 5 days than the whole Biden administration has done in his 4 years. It's ridiculous. 587 illegal immigrants were deported today alone. Think about that. Think about that.
I want them to take the fucking NGO workers with them. They need to be deported. They need to be fucking deported. Catholic charities, they all need to be fucking deported. You see that shit I've been sharing? The one archdiocese, whatever, which I will separate the church and the faith from Catholic charities, okay? And they got like $300 million for refugees and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, and that's just one. Like, they've gotten so many. Hey, ass butt, what up?
The original ass butt.
And let me do a little sharing. Ass butt is going to be on Adam Choit's live stream on Monday night. FYI.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man, everybody's going on Adam Choit's live stream.
It's going to be on music, people, though. It'll be like.
Ever since Adam started this live stream, it seems like everybody's got on that show. Like everyone, except for one person. I'm just kidding, Adam.
Ooh, Adam.
He had me on the show. I was very honored to go on his show.
You'd be good. You'd be good.
But yeah, so that's that. And the big things for me, my vote for Trump, I was very pleased. The only thing I wanted, the only reason I voted for Trump was so J6ers would be freed. I got my wish day one, and I was very ecstatic that the libertarians, the grateful libertarians, got their wish on day 1.5. The ungrateful libertarians can suck my balls. I learned that I absolutely fucking hate Chase Oliver this week. And how that guy was ever your fucking nominee is a prime example of why I will never, ever call myself a libertarian or get involved in the Libertarian Party.
The party,
I love you and respect
the party shit is just as bureaucratic as the government, and it's stupid. The party shit is. Like, but all that matters is if you actually go fucking fight the government and do politics. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Fuck 'em.
But seriously, shout out to Angela McCurdle for her work on the Free and Ross. I'm so like I am, as much as I didn't care about the whole Ross situation or it had no effect on my life. It is nice seeing a guy whose literal crime was creating a website get freed. Like, that's kind of cool. 2 life sentences plus 40 years is gay. And he was supposed to get a commutation, but he actually got a full pardon, unconditional pardon, which is also really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Trump, the name of the game for this week is promises made, promises kept. Like, he's fucking fulfilling
You saw the text my dad sent me. You saw the text my dad. And I don't think my parents would like agree with what Chase did necessarily.
Oh, of course not.
But like my dad's like, yeah, Trump kept his promise.
And I bet when you tagged me in that, I guarantee, like, I know your dad well enough that like as he was texting it, if he would have said that to you in person, he'd be like, look, it's your dad has this thing where he takes his chin and he points it down and to the right and he cockeyes you with the left eye. You know what I'm talking about, right? He'd be like I'm about to make a point. He'll go, Trump's a good man, kept his word, huh? Huh? Like he was doing that while texting that. Like I know.
I love that he texted me. He's like, "Oh, Ross the libertarian," which I'm sure he's never heard of Ross or any of this shit, right? And then he was like, "I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool. It was very cool that it happened." And I mean, I don't know. Like that's the kind of shit that makes people feel like you can get involved in politics and fight, and there is worth to it. You know what I mean? Like there can be things that happen. right? I don't know.
Hog Dog says Trump shredded LA today. Okay, I get it. If you didn't like Trump going into this, but like seriously, his first Friday in office, he spent in a room with LA government officials, specifically the mayor, and he, in front of people who he knows didn't vote for him, sat there and stuck up for the people in that room and told their government, like, loosen your fucking regulations so your people can get back to living in North. Do you know, and I learned this in 2018, in the city of Los Angeles, whenever a natural disaster happens, did you know it is illegal for you to clean your own property of debris?
Yeah, I've heard of shit like that for sure. Yeah.
So you're required by law to not clean your own property. So you can have like dead animals in your pool and you can't remove the dead animals. You have to wait for a government employee who has time to come to your residence and clean your residence. There are people who literally had dead animals in 2018, had dead animals because when they had the wildfires in 2018, like the fucking deer and shit would run into the pools trying to live and then drown. It was either burned to death or drowned to death, and they chose drown, and they couldn't take their own dead animals out of the pool. Like Trump was sitting in the room just fucking shredding the LA mayor on the stupid fucking regulations. He's like, you need to release these fucking regulations. Like, he's like, I have emergency powers just like you have emergency powers. Use your emergency powers to help your fucking people. And like a crowd of LA residents was cheering Trump. Man, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's what's going on in San Diego too. Like they were supposed to clean out these. So there's floods happen, but also fires happen too, and it's all like government property and shit that they're supposed to be taking care of, and they don't. And yeah, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit, and all those people are they're fucking communist losers anyway. Like it's all.
Kaylee,
and there's all this money. California got billions of dollars for infrastructure from the Infrastructure Act and all this bullshit, and didn't spend any of it on like actually fucking doing anything.
Well, no, come on now, Jess. That's not fair. They spent
at least
at least $350,000 on hiring a diversity, equity, inclusion officer over their Department of Relief, whatever bullshit, to make sure that the people who were supposed to be doing this job at least didn't fucking make black people and gay lesbians feel bad. Kaylee, our California correspondent, says, yeah, you get fined for being there and you get fined for cleaning it.
It's such bullshit.
And yeah, it's pretty gay.
And then like Gavin Newsom's like, oh, we're clearing the red tape, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck you. We know what you're fucking doing, because that's what Polis does out here too. He's like, oh, we're gonna like be libertarian about something. I was like, fuck you, you're not. They like always try to say they're doing this or that, and it's like, fuck you. You. Anyway.
And then the other big news from today is Pete Hegseth is officially the new Secretary of Defense.
Call me Pete. Call me.
He's a good-looking dude.
He's like totally down with being a terrible, shitty person too. And I'm
like unapologetically, like
that was the funny thing during that meeting.
No,
someone said something about that woman sitting by, but they didn't know that was like the third wife that he cheated on the second wife with, blah blah blah. Like, I mean, I don't judge it, but like it was funny. He tried to make it seem wholesome, and I was like, no, this motherfucker cheated on this wife with that wife, and blah blah blah. But also, hey Pete, call me.
The vote happened about an hour and a half ago, and yeah, it was 3 Republicans.
What is he doing?
Secretary of Defense. He's in charge of the military, and his goal is unwoke the fucking military.
Yeah, get all those tranny ass motherfuckers out. And you know what? There's a lot of older cross dressers and stuff that were government, but they're more conservative, or they were military, but they're conservative. They're not like this fucking shit that's going on now, and even they disagree with what's going on now. So that's good.
Good. But the vote was pretty eye opening. Because right now, Republicans have 53 seats in the Senate. We have the majority in Senate. And to confirm anybody, all you need is 51 votes. You just need 50 plus 1. You don't need a supermajority. What's your nuts from Alaska? Mark, she was a no. She's a woman who his views are. So I understand that one. Although if I live in Alaska, which is a very red state, I would not fucking be voting for her again. And then the other chick is the one who got in hot water over the whole fucking Roe versus Wade shit. The one, where's she from? Massachusetts, Maine? I think it's Maine. I think she's up in Susan Collins. She was a no, but the surprise was old Cocaine Mitch voted no for Pete Hegseth. So that was pretty shitty. So it came 50-50, which means J.D. Vance, for first time ever, got to use his vice president power of breaking a tie. And I found it so ironic that a Marine Corps E4, which is a low-ranking member of the military, had to leave the White House, drive over to Capitol Hill at night, go into the chambers of Senate, and cast the winning vote to put Pete Hegseth in charge of the military. Like, that's so fucking poetic. It's
You know
so
what?
poetic.
You know what else I heard about JD? So like his mom, like he grew up kind of poor and shit like that, and like,
Oh yeah,
but
his
he
mom
being
was a
turned
drug
into
addict.
a socialist because a lot of these motherfuckers in Denver and Colorado, they're like, oh, my mom was like, we were poor growing up, and now they're fucking socialists, and they're just making money off the government, and they're pieces of shit people. You know what I mean? But JD
Yeah,
Vance
you start to
didn't.
understand why their parents were poor, and they bred that into their fucking kids.
They're like, oh,
I'll tell you what.
groomed. They got found and groomed to be these fucking pieces of shit commies.
My whole life, there's been one class of people that I've never fucking understood, and it's the people who put so much hard work and effort in trying to figure out how to get like Social Security or get disability. Like legitimately, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're like, fuck this, I'm gonna get mine, and like they go just jump through hoops to get the free money from the government. It's like, do you realize you put more than 40 hours in this week just trying to get free money? Like, and it's not that much. Like $1,500 for 2 weeks. Come on.
And then their kids grow up and like, we need to get more for them. Hell yeah, Big J. Fuck them hoe ass communists. I'm fucking sick of them because they like I said, JD Vance didn't turn into a fucking socialist piece of shit like some of these.
Because he went into the Marine Corps. Well, his grandmother
was
was fucking
loser ass motherfucker in the Colorado state government, and he's like, oh, my mom was poor. We were on disability all my life, and now what does he do? He gets mad when the funding stops. He gets mad when the funding stops for his own shit. You know what I mean? Like it's all about.
Have you ever read or watched Hillbillyology?
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's JD Vance's life.
I know. I know. I didn't know at the time when I watched it, but I remember I watched it. Mm-hmm. And fuck them whole ass communists. I'm so fucking sick. Listen, you want to be a communist? Find a rich man who will take care of you, or a rich woman. That's how you get taken care of. The government and other people do not need to be taken care of you. You want to be taken care of and work and do your art, then you find a rich person. You be a good person. You find a man who will take care of you. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a man to take care of me right fucking now.
Or a rich widow. A rich widow.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not picky. I'll take either way. I'll take a shot in the mouth if it means I can become a millionaire.
But like, how is it? Like, I'm such like a me, you know, I'm how I am. Like, but I would never like put that on the taxpayers. You know what I mean? Like, it's if I don't get these people how they are like that. Like, it's just.
What I love about it is the people who are like, I love how starting on noon on Monday, people who have kept their mouth shut in polite society and like not vented their frustrations, people who are not like us, they decided, fuck this, Trump's in office, I'm going to tell a motherfucker to fuck off when they deserve to be told. I love bullying is coming back in a big way. You can see it on Twitter. You can see it in real life. All right, so here's the other big one. When I went to my parents on Thursday. Oh man, should I tell this story? Good? I don't know. I feel like I need to consult Doug. Yes, it's really good. It involves my dad. I won't tell the whole story. I'll leave out Doug's aspects and parts of it, but I'll tell the basic. So when I went to my mom's house to have breakfast, I pulled into their driveway, and we are all proud Americans. We all have flagpoles. Like I have a flagpole, my parents have a flagpole. Pulled into my parents' house. Flags upside down at half mast.
For Carter?
No, because Trump's in office. And I saw it, and I knew what it was. I just rolled my eyes, and I pull in the driveway. And like I've got a disabled veteran license plate on my car. They live on Main Street in a small town.
Did they take out the Biden flags and stuff down?
Oh yeah, all the signs and shit are down. But now the flag is upside down at half mast. So I go in, and my dad's home. Like he's in between shifts for his job. Him and Doug work together. They get the middle of the afternoon off. So, you know what I'm saying, early morning to afternoon off. Anyway, so I go in, me and my mom, have a cup of coffee with her. and my dad's in the living room, and I decide I'll go sit in the living room with my dad. And my dad, since the election, my dad's been super nice to me. Like, we've gotten along really well. So I go in, and my dad's on my mom's cell phone. I just noticed that. I didn't think anything of it. Like, it was just one of those, his cell phone sitting on the thing, and my dad's on my mom's cell phone, and he's just finger fucking that thing. You know what I mean? And I sit down on the couch, and I'm like, hey, Dad, how's it going? Doesn't even acknowledge my like that I'm in the room. Just finger fucking this phone away. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those days. Got it. My dad just bought a Glock.
You're used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I thought, okay, Trump's first week in office. I'm the son who openly admits to him that I voted for Trump. He fucking hates me. Like, but I figured that's what's going on. And I see the flag at half mast. I'm assuming something happened in the first couple days that he didn't like, where he's just super triggered and he's pissed at me because he knows I voted for Trump. So I'm sitting there, and he just bought a new Glock. And me and him have been bonding on this because my dad's been asking me all kinds of questions about the Glock.
This is a glizzy household, motherfuckers. Glizzies.
I'm any gun, but yes, my everyday carry is a Glock 19. So, but in my dad's, he bought a Glock 17, and he's been asking me all kinds of questions. Like, this is something we've been able to bond over again. You know what I mean? Like firearms, because he's asking me questions and shit. Because this is the first Glock he's ever bought. So, I noticed next to his cell phone on the coffee table is a brand new pair, what looks like Ear Pro, but I can't tell, but it looks like Ear Pro in a bag, a big Ziploc bag. And after 5 minutes of silence, I go, hey, is that Ear Pro? Finger fucks the phone, doesn't even pay attention to me again. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I did. And he goes like this. He goes, what? And I went, I'm not trying to pick a fight, Dad. I was just asking if that's Ear Pro. He's like, what the fuck is Ear Pro? He's like, those are a fucking pair of earmuffs for shooting. And I went, okay, that's Ear Pro. He's like, well, I don't know what the fuck Ear Pro means. And I'm like, well, Dad, if you want to get into guns as a hobby, you should probably learn these terminologies. Ear Pro stands for ear protection. That's what Ear Pro stands for. He's like, yeah, that's what it is. And he goes back to finger fucking my mom's phone. And my mom goes, hey, Paul, why don't you come in here and have breakfast? And I'm like, on it, Mom. And I went into the kitchen and I just drank coffee and talked to my mom. 5 minutes of me sitting at the breakfast table, like with my mom drinking coffee, my dad comes fucking fat stomping in, like earth shaking, like, and he sits at the fucking table and he's got my mom's phone in his hand. He's like, all right, hon, I want you to listen to this. And since our combat veteran son is here, I want him to listen to this too. And I look at my mom, I literally look at my mom and I'm like, what the fuck am I walking into? And my mom is behind my dad and she gives me the eyes and she literally mouths the words, like, don't say a word. And I'm just like, okay. And he's got my mom's phone and he's like, okay. Before we get started, my uncle was a Vietnam combat veteran. And I literally went, Dad, stop right there. I said, I'm going to stop you before you go any further because I could tell this is going to be a long fucking letter you're about to read me. I was like, can I please have context to what's going on if you want me to hear this? And he goes, so I put my flag upside down in protest since I'm in distress for the next 4 years. And some asshole this morning, I caught him trying to take a picture of it. And I went out there and I yelled at him. Well, now he plastered it all over Facebook about what a disgrace I am and how he's a combat veteran and I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, okay? I'm like, okay, I got the context. Proceed, Father. Read me your letter, if you will. And he goes into reading the letter. And the letter is like, I am the homeowner of the flag, blah, 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 blah. I'm using my wife's Facebook account as I do not have a Facebook account. So please don't blame her for my words. And I'm just like, you are such a this is such a boomer Facebook letter. And this is hilarious. Hilarious. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, my uncle, his Uncle Ken, okay, my uncle was a Vietnam combat vet who died in combat. Listen. I love my family. All right.
I love my family.
My grandmother, her best friend was her brother Ken. He joined the army during the very early stages of Vietnam. Okay. He died in a training exercise in like North Carolina. He didn't die in combat. He never went to Vietnam. He was never in combat. That takes nothing away from his service. He still signed on the dotted line. He still died in a military uniform doing a
Right.
military action. Like, I don't want to take away from that. But what my dad is putting in this letter is an absolute outright lie to try to justify his stupid shithead fucking position. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Will you send me a picture of your dad? I want to know what your dad looks like.
Picture me, add 30 years. Me and
It's so funny because you're me, for everyone watching, my dad and Paul's dad actually have the same exact fucking birthday.
Same birthday to the day.
September 13th, but that's what year was your dad?
57. What year is your dad? I thought they
50.
were the same.
No, my dad's 50. So he's
7 years older. Okay, he's 7 years older.
But still, they're boomers.
I can tell you this, his 7th birthday was Friday the 13th because my dad was born on Friday the 13th.
But it's like, it's so funny, especially with your mom, for growing up in the UP in Wisconsin, where it's more conservative, how your dad got, which is what a lot of us have seen with a lot of our friends, where they've gotten turned so lefty through whatever, and it doesn't make any sense, where you're like, your dad would do well if like he supported more conservative things, and
he was a Republican. My dad was super conservative growing up in the fucking 80s, 90s, and millennia. Literally, Donald Trump broke my father. I can't explain it. I don't know why. Anyway, so this letter.
That's what happened. That's what happened.
He starts, and he's not looking at anybody. He's just staring at my mom's phone, reading this fucking Facebook post that he's about to press send on. And he's like, my uncle died as a combat veteran in Vietnam, yada, yada. I have nothing but respect. I have nothing but respect for those who serve. And I think it's really funny now, this day and age, only one side can speak their mind, and anybody else who speaks out against the opposition is ridiculed and tried to silence. And like, he's going and he's reading this thing, and I'm thinking to myself, you're not that dense. You're literally 1,500 Americans were jailed for a political protest for 4 fucking years and not
some
giving.
Some of them just walked in.
Yeah, some just walked in. Yeah. But I'm listening to this, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, and my mom is just fucking huge-eyed, wide-eyed and shit, like staring at me. And like, I'm sitting there, and this is the funniest part of the whole story. I got a shit-eating grin on my face. Like, I am now I'm taking the clown pill with this whole situation and just smiling. And God, to prove that there is a God in this world, if you are an atheist, what I'm about to tell you makes this whole worth it. He is literally into 3 minutes of reading this 6-minute letter, and my phone goes, cha-ching, and I make a sale on eBay. And I went, yes! like, in the middle of him reading this story. And he gets done, and basically he's justifying him having a flag upside down. And let me say something.
And you're supposed to still have a half mast for Carter right now. You're supposed to have a half mast for Carter.
Yeah, well.
Technically, it's for a month.
Here's the thing. Do I think my father is asinine?
Fuck Carter.
Do you think? Yeah, fuck her. Do I think having the flag upside down is asinine? Yes. Would I defend my father's right to do it? Absolutely. Yeah. It's his God-given right. It's his prerogative, but he's got to take the fucking negative criticism that comes with it. You know what I mean?
He gives negative photos of it. He's doing it to be provocative, and people are gonna
correct. So he gets done reading the 6-minute story, and I thought he wanted my opinion on it. And he goes, send. He slams the fucking phone down on the game and just storms off. And I look at my mom and I go, oh, great. I went and I go, oh, great. I don't have to say anything. This is perfect. One thing that also kind of irritated me when he was going off on this whole diatribe on like reasons he has the right to be free and like he's using like service, like the only 2 people in my father's side of the family who ever served were his Uncle Ken and me. He never mentioned me in the letter whatsoever. He'll use my service to get a fucking discount at Home Depot every single day. Every single time he goes into Home Depot. Are you a veteran? No, my son is, though. He'll get my 10% discount. But when it came time,
and you know what?
If he asked my opinion, I'd have been like, you know what, Dad? I agree that you have the right to fly that flag upside down. And I would have told him right then and there. But you also have to take the criticism that comes along with it. I will tell more about this story because there's more details onto the story, but they involve Doug. Yeah, they involve Doug. Because as soon as I left, I went to the part store. I went to the part store after this to go look for it. This is that same day. And I'm like, as soon as I got to the parking lot of the parts store, I called Doug and I'm like, hey, has Dad been off a little bit? He goes, it's funny you say that. Ever since like the last couple weeks, Dad's not hanging out with the crew. Like when he comes back, he's sitting in his bus for the last half hour. We used to all sit in one bus together and just shoot the shit. Dad's sitting by himself. I went and hung out with him the other day, and like he's like, I don't want to be around people right now. My dad's going back into the same cycle he did when Trump was in 4 years ago.
He needs to. This is what's weird about they like hate Trump so much that they won't even. They lose all logic and all like everything, right? Like
yeah. JC, Home Depot. Yes, I love Home Depot. Okay, let me tell you about a hardware store. So how to tell if it's a good hardware store. You can tell how patriotic they are by how many flags they have. Lowe's only has one fucking flagpole. Home Depot has 2. They also give a bigger veterans discount.
Yeah, we are.
There goes the neighborhood. We're in the bizarre after hours, folks.
Blazer less.
Oh, God.
Hold on.
I feel like
we're a late night show. We can be crass on our late night show. People.
I love that if you actually pay attention to that intro, when you do that, you lean back and you shimmy your shoulders and go, What are you doing?
I was trying to, I was fluffing myself. It's cold, but
it's quality entertainment. You come for it, guys.
I have one innie that needs help sometimes.
Big J says it's almost like a syndrome, a deranged syndrome caused by Trump. One could call it a Trump derangement syndrome.
It's so
Big
bizarre.
J, I like your fucking style.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, thanks for everybody in the chat. Everybody, thanks to
you. Most
of
you can go fuck yourselves. There's a couple of you that are cool. Looking at you.
They're all cool.
Nah, most of them suck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
They're all cool. All our friends are cool.
Shout out to those over on YouTube. Are we gonna kill YouTube at an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna
want like one person watching on YouTube. Anyways.
Well, we got Luke and Daniel there.
No, Luke came over here. And Daniel came over
to the dark side. Come to the dark side, Luke.
Everyone come to just shut it off now, because I really need to like
okay. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going dark on YouTube.
It's like an hour. You've been talking for how did it go so fast? It's only 52 fucking
Alice, why am I getting fuck you, Paul?
What did I do, Alice? About myself. I haven't said, listen, I'm a woman. Everyone will say women talk. Did any of y'all hear me talk about myself at all in the last 53 minutes?
I apologize for talking on our talk show.
No, listen, I'm not saying I like it. I like when you talk and you have good stories. But I'm just saying, I haven't said shit about myself, okay?
I know.
That's all
we're going to get there.
I don't got a lot to say. I was trying to get my nipples hard for the fucking show. Like, I don't know.
This is fucking fantastic. All right, we're killing YouTube. Let's kill YouTube.
Kill YouTube while I take a swig from.
Thanks for watching on YouTube. Migrate on over to Rumble.
Yeah, if you are on YouTube, go.